Hello everybody, my name is Eric Francis and today we're going to do a review. We're going to be reviewing some ARTEZA art supplies, starting with a set of 60 acrylic paints. Now, the acrylic paint come in a metal tube and they have a lot of information on the label, just like some of your better paints. They also sent me a pack of 6 water brushes. And to fill the barrel with water, you have to unscrew the top, and after you get it back together, to feed water into the bristles you have to squeeze that button. There are 3 flat brushes and 3 round brushes. They also sent me a set of 48 Fineliner pens. It comes in a pretty nifty metal case. They're triangular and water soluble, which I thought was pretty cool. They also make 0.4 millimeter lines. Last but not least, they sent me 48 real brush pens. This particular set comes with a water brush, which is cool. These brush pens use water-based ink. Now that you see what I have, I'm gonna go and create some color swatches. So here's what I've done. I've taken a sheet of watercolor paper and I've made 48 different squares on it. On one side of the square, I'll make a little swatch of the color. On the other side, I dilute the color. Now, I do this so I can know what the color looks like. Like, I won't always be diluting the colors with water. It's very important that you don't skip this step, because you could never really know what your colors look like unless you have something like this to refer back to when you're working. So these brush pens have real bristles, similar to the water brush. It may look like the color doesn't completely dilute all the way, but it does. You just have to work it a bit. Plus, once the color dries, you can't lift it back up again. It stays put, which is cool. I find these colors vibrant and full of pigment. So here's the color chart. These colors are absolutely beautiful. So I go in and make a color chart for the Fineliner pens. Now, first off, the issue I was having with the Fineliner pens is they don't have a name, which is a problem. So I went in and I gave each one a number. It writes pretty smooth, the ink flows pretty good, but the color doesn't lift as good as the brush pens. But the colors are still vibrant. They're not as vibrant, but they're still vibrant. Once the ink dries, the color stays put. As you can see, my hand is on top of the paper, and I'm not rubbing anything off, and it's not getting on my hands, which is really cool. What that means is I won't have a problem layering these colors. I was pretty excited to see that I could get this kind of color out of a 0.4 millimeter pen. So let's move on to the acrylic paint. I find the colors to be rich with pigment. The colors are brilliant, just like the rest of the products. And the paint is buttery smooth. I find these colors to be beautiful and very similar to the other art supplies. It is time to play. I'm gonna go in now and I want to see how well I can blend these colors together, potentially. You know, I'm playing around with it right now. Don't really know what's gonna happen. I'm a real novice at watercolor. That's not something I do. I'm an acrylic painter, you know. Sometimes I paint with the acrylic paint really diluted, but nothing quite like this. And yeah, I was really impressed. I can't stress enough how pigmented these colors are. I didn't expect them to cover this good, you know. So I'm getting used to lifting paint up and spreading it around. It's like having your palette on your paper. Real interesting stuff, you know. So now I'm interested to see how much these brush pens could cover. You know, it's kind of an opacity test. So I go through and I use various colors, and then I lift them up with some water, or I help them set with some water. So we're covering up I Am Great. Now, I wrote this because sometimes as artists, we tend to beat ourselves up too much. And I'm here to remind you that you're great. Even though it doesn't look okay, everything is okay. And as you can see, it's covering up pretty good. So I decided to go over it a second time, and here are the results. So I placed some yellow down, and it's been sitting for 40 minutes. I wanted to see if the color is still workable, and it is. So you don't have to be in a super huge rush when you lay your colors out to paint. So for this next test, I want to see how good I'm able to control this new medium. So this has less to do with the brush pens and more to do with the water brush. I want to be able to control the paint or the ink, you know, because that was something I thought I might have some difficulty with, being that I've never used anything like this before, you know. It's a lot like watercolor. So in some areas I'd go in and add water first. In other areas I'd go and just use the brush by itself first. Like right now I'm using the brush first, and then I go in and wet everything. And this is working pretty good for me, so keep doing it. But I wanted a real soft fuzzy background. And I go in and add the colors one at a time, and this worked pretty good. It blended okay. So now I go in and wet the area first, and I go in with the brush pen, and it worked out pretty good. So we try it for the pants, and we get the same results. It doesn't go down, the color doesn't go down as dark when you wet the area first. So now I tried something a little different. Try to use the paper as a palette, and it worked out fine. There's so many things you can do with this. It's real exciting stuff, you know. So now I go in and paint the shoes, and we finish off with that, look like a beanbag chair. I wet the area first, and I go in with the brush pen, and here are the results. And I was pretty happy with this. So we finish off our tests by using the Fineliner pens, and I made a little drawing. This is more like the stuff that I normally do, and again, I'm trying to test out control. I don't really have any expectations because I don't really know what's gonna happen, you know, but I like to draw with pens, and I follow the same techniques that I normally use. And I didn't have any problems with these pens. The ink flows perfectly. So this was a big deal to me. I went to erase the pencils and didn't lift up any of the ink. Awesome. So now I go in with a water brush, and I begin to dilute everything. The ink remains workable for a good amount of time, so you don't have to be in a super rush to dilute it. So if you're making a drawing, you could set everything up before you go in with a water brush. So now I create swatches with the brush pen and paint over the drawing. And here we have it. I'm going to give ARTEZA 2 thumbs up for their affordable art supplies. If you're interested in these art supplies, in the description there's a coupon code that'll get you 10% off. It's valid for a month. There are also affiliate links that'll take you directly to these products. Like, comment, subscribe, or share this video. I have 2 more videos using ARTEZA products to make paintings. See you soon. Peace.